So here's my question. For several years now, as far as Jay Cutler, people and Chicago Bears fans like the Kyle Orton, the Jim McMahon, the blah blah blah, the handoff, like blah blah blah, easy gamer kind of stuff. And nobody.
Jim McMahon did a lot more than that.
Well, I agree with that. So that's a very bad example. So
Mac definitely that is an awful example.
Let me ask you a question. If Jay Cutler played with the 1985 Bears, who would have been a better quarterback, Cutler or McMahon?
For the type of team that the Bears have, I'll say Jim McMahon.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
With Cutler's ability, I mean, oh man.
Yeah, but the way that McMahon was able to mesh with his offensive line, with Peyton, with the receivers that he had, I mean, you know, he and Willie Gault, they had their moments where they kind of got into each other's face or whatever, but they worked together. He worked great with McKinnon. They had some good tight ends. Thank heavens Mike Martz wasn't around then, because Emery Moorhead and Tim Reitman and Pat Dunsmore were pretty good tight ends.
I agree.
And if Mike Martz is there, he would have just neutralized all three of them.
Well, my question is about Mike Martz. My question is about how talented Jay Cutler is. And if you have a talented quarterback like Cutler is, and trust me, I'm not like a crazy like Cutler lover. There's things about him that make me crazy, but as far as talent, as far as like a guy can like step up his back foot and just throw a freaking rifle on a sideline panner, and it's like I'm getting a little upset with Bears fans like that hate him, even though in 2 seasons he set like 2 Bears records in two consecutive seasons. Has he not, or no?
He has set a few records, yeah, but what he has to do, and it's not all his fault, but he has to stop throwing the ball to the wrong colored uniform.
But I think that's part receiver problem, isn't it?
Offensive line as much as anything.
Well, here's my point. Is Jay Cutler not the best Bears quarterback ever in that uniform?
Not a chance.
30 years?
Not a chance.
So who's better, McMahon?
Not yet. I'll take Jim McMahon right now. The season
on.
Eric Kramer had in the season.
Come on.
What do you mean, come on?
Come on.
You're trying to tell me Cutler is better than what McMahon did in 85?
Are you kidding me? I'm talking about his talent.
I don't care about talent. I'm talking about what he accomplished.
He accomplished something remarkable with a team that was all about defense.
He was on a team that without that offense,
come on, Les, come on.
They're coming to take me away, ha ha. They're coming to take me away, ho ho, hee hee, ha ha, to the funny farm.
You earned that one, Jack.
He did
Sorry.
not. He didn't earn that. No, he didn't. Cutler's better.
Actually, I did.
Adam, how old were you in 1985?
Stop. It doesn't
Adam,
matter.
How old were you in 1985?
It doesn't matter, Les.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
I was at every
Jay
single
Cutler's
game.
better. Jay Cutler's better.
I've been at every game Cutler has played as a Bear, and I was at every game in 85. You weren't.
Oh, well, actually,
I don't care.
I wasn't. Are you talking to me or Adam now?
Both of you.
Okay. Well, I don't know who Adam is, but Adam, you're exactly right. There's no question.
You're both crazy. You're both crazy.
How can you say that?
I just did. Watch
Cutler's
my lips.
better.
Okay. I see both of them play, and Jay Cutler throws it out. Oh my God! Am I still on the air or no?
You're still on the air.
Okay.
You want to continue to make a goof out of yourself? Go ahead. I'll let you do it.
Well, if anybody else is listening, please call in and tell Les. And I love.
And it's not about. You don't have to tell him. Tell Les. I'm right here. Listen to me carefully, both of you.
Okay.
It's not only about who is more talented. Did Cutler have more talent? Probably. Maybe even by a wide margin. That's not what it's all about. It's what you accomplish on the field. And don't tell me it was only about the defense. That offense, they had Walter Payton. They had Willie Gault. They had 3 good tight ends that could catch the ball. They had Matt Suey, a fullback that could actually block, which the Bears don't have now. What do you mean, oh, God? They had They had a Hall of Fame type of left tackle who should get in the Hall of Fame, but unfortunately, by the name of Jimbo Colvert.
Hall of Fame defense, but they killed every team they ever played.
They also gave up a lot of points to certain teams like Miami, Tampa
Absolutely.
Bay.
Actually, 38-14, like when they were 11-0, I remember it well, Les. I was around, so I'm 50 years
You're not
old.
even right about the score. It was not 38-14. It was 38-24.
You're right. I did. Actually, you're correct.
And I'm not even looking it up. I can recall that.
I do, too, and I misspoke, so you got me there. And they were 11-0 at the time, correct?
From the 773 area code on the feedback zone, when Cutler has a ring, then you can compare. That's not me saying
So is Trent
that.
Dilfer better than Cutler?
Nope.
Trent Dilfer has a ring.
Yeah, but the offense of that particular team is not the reason they won the Super Bowl.
So actually,
the Bears had a underrated offense in '85. If they don't have that type of offense, is great. What happened in 1984 when that defense was just as good, but McMahon got hurt? How many points did they score in the NFC Championship game at San Francisco that year without McMahon? How many points did they score?
They lost 23-0.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
if you put Jay Cutler on that '85 Bears team, they're better than they were.
Actually, you don't, because he was barely
better. Are you kidding me? You're trying to tell me
he'd have been barely older than a sperm if he'd have been on that team.
Oh
Okay, you're right. You're right.
You're trying to tell me Jim McMahon is a better quarterback than Jay Cutler. Are you telling me that seriously?
Yeah, he didn't throw the ball to the wrong colored uniform as much as Cutler does.
They're coming to take me away.
Actually, he did it in like '86 when the Bears were down.
In '86, he was hurt most of the year. It was mostly Steve Fuller, Mike Tomczak, and then later in the year, Doug Flutie. What do you mean, oh, my God?
It's like
that's amazing. What happened. You don't know what happened there. Don't make comments if you don't know what you're talking about on this.
Well, actually, I do know what I'm talking about because I actually watched the game and Jim McMahon threw the ball.
How many games were you actually at in 1985?
I watched every game. What I was
all right, you watch it. That's fair enough. How many games were you actually at?
In '85, 0. So.
Okay, how many games were you at in '86?
0.
Okay. Have a good weekend.
That doesn't mean he doesn't know. Just because he wasn't at the game, he still watched the game.
It doesn't mean I don't know.
No, I understand. Like, it's just a difference of opinion. But just because you can't.
You didn't answer my other question, Adam.
What?
How old were you in 1985?
Right, so I can't have an opinion about it.
You didn't answer the question. You can have all the opinion you want. I asked you a question. You want to answer it?
I was not alive.
Thank you very much.
See, but then by saying thank you very much, did you prove a point there? Like,
yeah,
what does that
it proved
mean?
that I was around. I saw every game, and even if I was just watching them on TV, I saw more. You're not in a position to compare the two if you weren't here then.
Okay, but I've seen the games. I've watched them, believe me. And I know, like, Jay Cutler is a better quarterback than McMahon, for sure. And you can just look at the numbers, too.
The numbers are one thing. There are other things that are involved there that don't involve statistics. That's true in any sport. Statistics sometimes can lie.
I don't think they lie.
Carlos Marmol has as good a stuff as any closer, but is he the best closer in baseball this year?
No.
Is he the best closer in the National League this year?
No.
Is he the best closer in Chicago this year?
But no, he's not. I understand. I agree that statistics don't tell everything.
And he probably has as good a filthy stuff as anybody.
Les, I agree.
Same thing.
I understand. Let me talk now.
You interrupted me about 5 times, so I'm going to interrupt you the same way. No, go ahead.
Okay. I understand that statistics do not tell everything there is to know about a comparison between two players. But I also know that Jay Cutler is purely just more talented. I've seen the games, both of them. He's just when you watch him play, he's more talented. He doesn't have a ring, okay? And McMahon found ways to win, I guess you could say, and a lot of it was the defense. You can't discredit the fact that defense took care of most of those games.
How'd they do without McMahon in '84? As he just said on the previous,
they lost.
They didn't only lose; they didn't come close to scoring. I don't even think they got in the red zone in that game without McMahon.
Okay, so
then
this
in '86, they got back to the playoffs. They were 14-2. McMahon was out for the season, and Mike Ditka chose not to go with either of the backups, Steve Fuller or Mike Tomczak. He went to Doug Flutie, and the Redskins beat them. They didn't win a playoff game each of the next 2 years without McMahon. Now they did have McMahon 2 years later, but that was with a lot of key players out and gone, and it wasn't the same team as 1985. It wasn't.
We're gonna agree to disagree on this. Cutler's. I'm just saying I would take Cutler before I would take McMahon starting any team.
Okay. 630 area code. The Thursday night game, McMahon against the Vikes. Cutler would never have done that. Now, we're never going to know because Cutler wasn't in the stadium that night in the Metrodome. So much for that. See what else we have here. 630, McMahon had the drive to lead his team to a win, something Cutler doesn't have right now. That's part of it. 773. I was 1 in 85. I think you're all crazy. 2 different generations. I don't think you can compare players. People are bigger and faster nowadays. And you know what? That's a Bernstein comparison. And I think that's baloney, too. He's the one that keeps hinting LeBron James would kick Michael Jordan's ass because he's bigger and stronger and all the rest of that stuff. Give me a break.